Good morning, I'm Nikki Stanzione.
And I'm Kristen Van Dyke.
And this is New Mexico style, trying to pump up your Tuesday morning. We said it's kind of the toughest day of the week, right?
Don't you Tuesday, think? Because you're still so early in the week. Let's not talk about that.
Yeah, okay, let's pretend it's not. Let's pretend it's Thursday.
It's a good start to the day.
It is, and actually felt a lot better this morning too, because not quite as hot as it was yesterday morning.
It's like 10 degrees cooler.
It's really nice. I liked it. Okay, so I think we should get right to hot topics today.
Yes, we have some good ones.
Really fun ones. I mean, this is a story, we spent a lot of time in Hot Topics this year talking about a man who thought he was winning, and now, the guy who needs a therapist is actually going to play one on TV. Charlie Sheen has officially signed on to star in a new sitcom entitled none other than Anger Management.
Yep, and it's based on the 2003 movie Anger Management. You probably remember this one. Do you remember this?
Of course.
Adam Sandler and Jack Nicholson.
That's right.
So loosely based on that, Lionsgate Television is producing the series, but there's no deal so far with the network to air the show. So we don't know how that's going to work.
Well, if I was a network exec, I'd be a little bit concerned. We all know he's a little bit of a, a little bit of a time bomb from time to time, and that he's a little sporadic in his behavior.
Yeah, and I think it's funny what his quote was about it.
Which?
He said that, I think it's a little bit of a stretch. Charlie Sheen said this. I think it's a little bit of a stretch to say that I have anger management issues, but I still think I could play the part well and add a lot of comedy to it. And I was like, a little bit of a stretch.
Yeah, the good thing to know is that he's not delusional at all. I like that about him. He's never delusional.
Yeah.
But, it could be a very interesting show.
We'll have to see. We'll see how it goes. I love the movie.
I did love the movie. I think it'll be fun.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
Me too.
We'll see which network gets on board.
More news here. Actress Betty White won't be the belle of the ball. Sergeant Ray Lewis became the latest military man to invite a celebrity to the Marine Corps ball in November.
The big thing, but unlike Mila Kunis and Justin Timberlake, who we've told you have accepted invitations to attend separate military events, White has politely declined. In a statement, the 89-year-old writes, "I am deeply flattered and truly appreciate the invitation. As everyone knows, I love a man in uniform." I could totally hear her saying that. But unfortunately, she said, "I cannot accept as I will be taping an episode of Hot in Cleveland." Really cute show, by the way. I don't know if you've checked it out on TV Land, but it's a really cute show. Valerie Bertinelli, and it's adorable, really, and she does such a good job with it. I don't know that necessarily she's really taping the show, but I think that at her age, it's hard. I mean, it's hard at our age to travel all over the country and do all that.
I wonder who's going to be next on the list of the celebrity list being invited to one of the balls.
It's the new thing. It might be you.
Yeah.
Would you go?
Would I go? Of course I would go.
I know.
But it's not going to be me.
Now that we put it out there, sorry, Kristen, you might have to.
Right.
Well, we've got really good news for college students. Not that you get a date with Kristen Van Dyke, but actually that Amazon has introduced ebook textbook rentals just in time for the fall semester, which is great. It allows students to save up to 80% on thousands of titles. That's really good. 80%'s a lot.
That makes a huge difference. Textbooks are so expensive. So yeah, Amazon kicking off today its Kindle textbook rental program. Students can now rent the e-textbooks for 30 to 360 days, and Amazon also says that students can extend the rental period or buy its rented textbooks at any time. So that's the trick, though, is you can't get the actual textbooks, so you have to go to the whole e-text thing, and then you just give it back. I think it'd be hard to me. It'd be hard to study.
It would be hard for me.
Using a Kindle.
I'm a highlighter.
I like the highlighting.
Yeah,
I like writing the notes. I like writing in my books.
I'm
and some of my books I like to keep.
Yes.
So I don't know, but I mean, is that the way? Is this the way of the future? I mean,
don't know.
Everything's kind of going in that direction.
It makes you think, what is next? Really, what is next? At this point, I mean, because these are things we didn't think about, and it hasn't been that long since we've been in school. And when you think about these things, yeah, technically it's lighter for you to carry. It's less, less for you to do. But you're right. I love highlighting. I used to love to highlight.
But you know what? Going back to the college days, when I didn't have quite the adult mind that I have right now.
Right.
I probably would have been like, yes, I can save so much money. I can just spend that on Starbucks or something.
Right, exactly. It's the looking back on it that we think it's not as good.
It's a lot of money to save.
It's interesting, though. I like that. Now, we've had some, you've been talking a lot also about weather around the entire Southwest, and there's been some interesting news lately.
There has, especially in Arizona. Another dust storm rolled into Phoenix yesterday. The wall of dust, also known as a haboob, hit downtown residents, and they are still cleaning up after the July 5th storm. Haboobs only happen in Arizona, the Sahara Desert, and parts of the Middle East because of the dry conditions and all that sand that's around, and then it gets blowing there, and then, of course, reducing the visibility. Can you imagine seeing that coming at your house?
No, that is so scary. To me, that looks like the end of the world. I mean, it's just, it just seems to keep getting worse. I'm going to try to stay very positive, but this is just bizarre to me.
It is. My grandmother grew up, and she said that she was in a few of the storms like that.
Really?
And she said they would have to run and get towels, and they would wet the towels and then put them under the doors and then line them in the cracks of the windows and everything to try to keep all the dust from coming in. But sometimes it still would, and you'd have to like wear a handkerchief.
Oh my gosh.
To try to breathe because of all the dust.
Almost like an oxygen mask. I mean, on a typical dusty day, if you have any kind of respiratory problems, it's always difficult to breathe. It's always difficult. So imagine in that kind of a situation, how unbelievable that must be. So hopefully everybody's okay out there. And I would imagine that if you do have any respiratory problems, you want to make sure you take really extra good care of your health right now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it's so dry that we're seeing a lot of dust getting kicked up and around, and of course
staying that way
from the fires. But it is going to be getting better. It's been so dry so far the start of the monsoon season, but things are looking up for the end of the week.
I need my umbrella, L-A-A, soon?
To block the sunlight today, but you may need it by the end of the week. Here's a look at the forecast.